Sagittarius, you're stressed by teen rebellions. Find cosmic relief insights. The house is quiet, but your heart isn't. The echo of slammed doors, sharp words, and heavy sighs still hangs in the air like thunder that refuses to fade. You sink into the couch, palms pressed to your temples, and wonder how love, something that once felt effortless, became this hard. You used to be the fun mom, the open one, the woman whose laughter filled every room. But now your teenage child rolls their eyes at your jokes, challenges every boundary, and leaves you walking on eggshells in your own home. Sagittarius, this moment feels like betrayal, not from them but from the universe itself. You've spent your life believing that truth heals everything, that love conquers chaos. And yet, here you are exhausted, wondering if you're failing or simply evolving. You crave honesty, freedom, and connection. But your child, in their rebellion, mirrors those same desires back at you, in a language you no longer understand. You miss the simplicity. You miss the days when your wisdom was enough, when your words were met with trust, not defiance. But what if this tension isn't punishment? What if it's a new chapter of your soul's education? A sacred rebalancing between love and letting go. In astrology, rebellion often arrives when Uranus stirs the air, when Saturn demands maturity, and when Jupiter, your ruling planet, stretches your patience to help you grow. These clashes are cosmic classrooms, not personal failures. The universe isn't turning your home into a battlefield. It's showing you where the fire of your Sagittarian spirit must soften into light. Across the world, midlife women like you are living this story. In the US, studies show that mothers of teenagers report the highest rates of emotional exhaustion, disrupted sleep, and quiet loneliness. In Europe, family structures are still slightly more supportive, yet even there, community bonds are thinning, family support down to 68%, leaving many mothers to navigate their storms alone. The ache you feel isn't yours alone. It's collective. But that means the healing can be collective too. You are still the archer, wild-hearted, wise, and luminous. But this time your target isn't control or correction. It's peace. You're being asked to aim your energy inward, to rediscover your own rhythm, your own truth, your own calm. The very rebellion that exhausts you may also be the key to your awakening. So take a breath. This isn't the end of your relationship. It's a new language forming between generations, a spiritual dialogue dressed as conflict. And the stars are here to help you translate it. Through Jupiter's generosity, through lunar rituals, through understanding the emotional maps hidden in your chart, you can transform this storm into strength. Because Sagittarius, your story has never been about giving up. It's about expanding again and again even when it hurts. And maybe, just maybe, this chaos is not your undoing, but your return to the truth. That love, when freed from fear, always finds its way back home. Chapter 1: The Emotional Weather of Rebellion. There is a strange kind of silence after an argument, the kind that feels heavy, not peaceful. You stand in the hallway, listening to your teenager's bedroom door click shut, the final punctuation mark in yet another battle you never meant to start. The words you spoke were meant to protect, to teach, to guide. But somehow they landed like arrows instead of bridges. You retreat to your room and sit on the edge of the bed, staring at the ceiling, and whisper to yourself, "How did we get here?" Sagittarius, your nature is to love through action. You believe that with enough understanding, enough truth, enough optimism, everything can be mended. But teenage rebellion is a different kind of storm. It's not one you can reason with. It's wild, unpredictable, and deeply emotional. And what hurts most is that you recognize that wildness. It looks like you once did. That spark of defiance in your child's eyes? It's your own freedom-loving soul reflected back. This is what happens when independence meets its mirror. The mother who taught her child to think freely now finds herself longing for obedience. The child who inherited your fiery courage now uses it to push away. There's irony here and heartbreak too. You didn't raise rebels, you raised reflections. In astrology, this friction isn't random. When Saturn or Uranus creates tension with your natal placements, the universe is inviting maturity. From both sides. Saturn asks for discipline, while Uranus insists on authenticity. These transits can feel like a tug of war, where the rope is your patience and your heart is caught in the middle. Yet, if you listen deeply, the planets are teaching a new rhythm. Structure and freedom can coexist, but only when love stops demanding to be right. Across cultures, this tension is rising. In the US, Researchers note that midlife mothers report more emotional exhaustion than any other demographic group. Family psychologists link this to disrupted sleep cycles, depression symptoms, and a lack of communal support. In Europe, where family networks once acted as buffers, that sense of belonging is thinning. Intergenerational support now at 68%. Behind these numbers are millions of women like you, sitting in parked cars after another heated conversation, crying quietly so no one hears. But Sagittarius, you were never meant to drown in conflict. You were meant to travel through it. Your element is fire, dynamic, transforming, illuminating. The storm around you isn't here to break you. It's here to remind you that chaos can also be creation. Rebellion in its essence is not rejection. It's growth trying to find space. And just as you once fought for your freedom, your child now fights for theirs. The goal is not to extinguish that fire, but to teach it how to burn safely. Try something different this week. Practice what I call the listening ritual. Choose one evening when you won't give advice. No lectures, no defenses, just presence. Sit beside your child, not across from them. Ask one open question, something simple like, "What feels hard for you right now?" Then listen, truly listen, even if it hurts. Silence is often the bridge between two stubborn hearts. You may not find resolution right away, but you'll plant something even more valuable: trust. Over time, they'll begin to feel your energy shift from controlling to understanding, from reaction to response. And you too will feel lighter, freer, because love no longer means convincing. It means witnessing. One Sagittarius mother once told me, "When I stopped trying to fix my son and just let him talk, I realized he wasn't angry at me, he was scared of growing up." That moment changed everything. The arguments became conversations. The tension softened. "It wasn't magic," she said, "but it was love finally breathing again." You see, rebellion is not the end of closeness. It's the beginning of a deeper relationship, one that asks you to evolve as much as your child does. Repeat softly tonight before sleep. I release control and choose understanding. My love does not need to win. It only needs to listen. Let those words settle like rain on scorched ground, because that's what healing looks like, Sagittarius. Not the absence of storms, but learning how to dance in their rhythm without losing your light. Chapter 2: Jupiter's Wisdom. Turning arguments into growth. Every Sagittarius woman carries a deep-seated belief that wisdom can heal anything. That if only you could find the right words, the right tone, the right moment, everything would fall back into place. You were born under Jupiter, the planet of expansion and truth. You know how to turn pain into philosophy, conflict into insight. But when the arguments with your child keep circling back to the same edge, even Jupiter's optimism feels distant. The truth is, rebellion isn't a rejection of your guidance. It's a sign that your child's soul is growing, learning to define itself against yours. They are searching for their own horizon, and sometimes, that search comes wrapped in anger or silence. But here lies Jupiter's gift. Every clash is also a conversation about freedom, yours and theirs. It's not a loss of connection. It's a shift in language. Sagittarius, you thrive on meaning. You're not satisfied with surface-level peace. You want understanding. That's why Jupiter's influence is your greatest ally here. His energy teaches that every conflict contains a lesson, every emotion a doorway. When you look at arguments through this lens, they stop feeling like failures and start feeling like chapters of growth. Try reframing the story. Instead of asking, "Why are they being so difficult?" ask, "What is this moment trying to teach us?" That one question can shift everything. It moves you out of defensiveness and into discovery, the natural home of the Sagittarian soul. In astrology, the fourth house governs family roots and emotional security, while the fifth house rules creativity, joy, and expression. When tension rises between these two, the message is clear: your home, fourth, and your child's self-expression, fifth, are both craving air. The energy needs to move. Maybe that means changing how you talk or even where. One mother found that her fiercest arguments turned softer when she talked with her daughter during car rides instead of face-to-face at home. The space between them, physical and emotional, made it easier to breathe. Jupiter teaches through experience. He doesn't promise ease, he promises expansion. This means that when you and your child disagree, you're both being stretched in patience and compassion, in the ability to hold complexity without collapsing. It's not about who's right. It's about who's willing to grow. Let me tell you about Amelia, a 47-year-old Sagittarius mother who used to argue daily with her teenage daughter about responsibility. She kept saying I didn't understand her world, Amelia shared. I felt like I was losing her. During a Jupiter transit in her 9th house, the house of truth and higher learning, Amelia made a decision. Instead of giving advice, she would start asking questions rooted in curiosity, not control. So one evening, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," she asked, "What would make you feel heard right now?" The response wasn't immediate, but the tension softened. Over time, their dynamic shifted. "We still disagree," she said, "but now we laugh more. It's like Jupiter turned our fights into lessons." This is Jupiter's ultimate wisdom. Arguments are not interruptions to love, they are part of love's education. You can also bring Jupiter's light into your home with family philosophy nights. Once a month, gather around dinner or candles and explore a single question together. Something open-ended and human, like what does respect really mean? Or what makes someone feel free? Encourage everyone to share without judgment. You may not solve anything that night, but you'll awaken something far more powerful: mutual reflection. And don't forget the skies. When the moon moves through Sagittarius, your celestial home, it's a time of emotional renewal. Light a candle, write down what's been weighing on your heart, and ask Jupiter for clarity. End the ritual by saying, "May this conversation lead to connection. May this fire burn only what no longer serves." Across continents, parents are realizing that rebellion is not a crisis. It's communication in disguise. In the U.S., studies reveal that families who engage in reflective dialogue, rather than reactive discipline, report a 30% drop in emotional burnout. In Europe, community-based discussions about parenting philosophy are helping mothers rebuild trust with their teens. These trends echo Jupiter's universal message. When we approach conflict with openness, we expand together. So next time your child raises their voice or walks away mid-conversation, pause. Picture Jupiter, vast, patient, luminous, orbiting steadily above you. Whisper inwardly, "This too is a lesson. I am learning to grow through love, not through control." Because that's what Jupiter does, Sagittarius. He turns tension into teaching, rebellion into revelation, and heartbreak into higher wisdom. He reminds you that love is not about agreement. It's about expansion. And if you let him, he will turn your weary home back into a classroom of compassion. A place where every clash becomes a constellation, and every silence a chance to begin again. Chapter 3: The Body Remembers. Healing through ritual and rest. There comes a moment, usually late at night, when the world is still but your body isn't. You lie awake, eyes open to the dark, your mind replaying every sharp word, every sigh, every slammed door. Your shoulders ache. Your chest feels heavy. The same exhaustion that clouds your thoughts has now settled deep in your bones. Sagittarius, you may not realize it, but your body has been keeping score of every emotional storm. You are a creature of movement, of optimism, of adventure. You're used to outrunning your worries, to fixing things by doing something. But what happens when the problem can't be solved by effort alone? What if your body is whispering, "It's time to stop running and start listening"? Stress, especially emotional conflict, changes your inner rhythm. Studies show that midlife women, particularly mothers navigating adolescent tension, experience higher rates of sleep disruption, anxiety, and even physical fatigue that mirrors burnout. Your nervous system, constantly on alert, begins to believe that every conversation might turn into a battle. And when that happens, rest no longer feels like rest. Yet healing begins in the body before it reaches the mind. Your body is the map that Jupiter, your ruling planet, gifted you at birth. It records every joy, every sorrow, every lesson. To restore peace, you must first read that map again. Start with your breath. It sounds simple, but for Sagittarius, breath is medicine. You're ruled by the element of fire. Passionate, bright, sometimes restless. And fire without air suffocates. Each slow inhale becomes an act of expansion. Each exhale a surrender. Try this Sagittarius moon ritual the next time conflict leaves you feeling empty. Light a single candle, golden or violet, Jupiter's colors. Sit somewhere quiet, where you can see the flame. Breathe deeply, imagining that with every inhale, you are pulling in cosmic light. With every exhale, release the day's heaviness, the worry, the fatigue, the guilt. Whisper softly. I reclaim my energy. I release what is not mine to carry. Do this for 5 minutes, no more. You'll feel your heartbeat steady. You'll feel your mind soften. That's your body remembering peace. One Sagittarius woman, Rhea, began this practice after weeks of sleepless nights following constant fights with her teenage daughter. At first it felt silly, she said. I didn't think 5 minutes of breathing would change anything. But within days she noticed something subtle. Her reactions grew slower, gentler. I didn't need to win arguments anymore. I just needed to rest. And somehow, her daughter began to mirror her calm. That's the beauty of energetic leadership. When you heal your own nervous system, everyone in your orbit starts to breathe easier. Astrologically, the moon's passage through Sagittarius each month offers renewal. An invitation to check in with your energy, not your to-do list. These lunar windows are your body's natural reset points. Mark them on your calendar. Treat them as sacred. On those nights, don't cook, don't clean, don't fix. Just exist. Journal under soft light. Write down 3 things your body is asking for. Rest, laughter, sunlight, movement. Then give it 1. Remember, your body is your first child. It depends on your care, your compassion, your listening. The world may call you strong, but Jupiter calls you sacred. And that sacredness deserves tending. Modern research aligns with cosmic truth. Unresolved family tension doesn't just weigh on the heart. It disrupts hormonal balance, affects immunity, and increases fatigue. Yet women who create mindful rituals, daily walks, short meditations, or simple gratitude practices, report higher resilience and emotional clarity. Sagittarius, you don't need to escape to heal. You need to come home to your body. Your physical energy is a mirror of your emotional fire. When your muscles soften, so does your heart. When your breath slows, understanding rises. When you sleep peacefully, Jupiter's whispers become clearer. So tonight, before you go to bed, place your hand over your chest. Feel your heartbeat, steady, loyal, ancient. Whisper softly. My body is my ally. I rest so I can rise again. I trust my rhythm. You'll notice something beautiful in the days ahead. Fewer words, fewer tears, and more quiet clarity. Because your body, once tired from carrying every emotion, will finally exhale. And when you move from rest instead of reaction, you become what you've always been meant to be. The calm flame in the storm, the teacher of balance, the healer of your home. Chapter 4: Rebuilding Connection Through Boundaries and Community. By now, Sagittarius, you've learned that healing doesn't mean everything goes back to how it was. It means you return to yourself. You've breathed through the noise, sat in the silence, tended to your fire. And now the next step arrives. To reconnect, not from exhaustion but from strength. This is where you rebuild love, softer, wiser, freer. The truth is, every Sagittarius woman at midlife faces a moment when she realizes love cannot thrive without space. You were born under Jupiter's expansive light. You need air, meaning, and movement. But motherhood, caregiving, and family duties can shrink your sky until you forget how wide it once was. Reconnection begins when you reclaim that sky, not by walking away from those you love, but by standing firmly in who you are. Let's start with boundaries, those invisible but vital lines that define the rhythm of a healthy relationship. For many Sagittarius women, the word itself sounds cold, like a wall, not a bridge. But true boundaries are made of compassion, not distance. They say, I love you enough to show you where I end and you begin. You might feel tempted to give endlessly, to solve, to soothe, to carry, especially when your children struggle or push away. But boundaries protect your energy, and when your energy steadies, so does the household's. Remember, the calmest flame leads the fire. Take Amara, a 51-year-old Sagittarius mother, who once believed that good parenting meant constant availability. Her teenage son would text her from school, overwhelmed, and she'd drop everything, her work, her rest, her peace, to respond. Over time, resentment grew in both directions. I was always there, she said, but I started to feel invisible. During a Saturn transit, the planet that teaches structure and self-respect, Amara made a quiet shift. She told her son, I'll always help you, but I'll respond after my meditation. First he pushed back. Then he adjusted. And soon something profound changed. Her peace returned, and his maturity blossomed. Astrologically, Saturn and Jupiter work hand in hand, Saturn sets the structure. Jupiter fills it with purpose. Without Saturn, Jupiter's generosity becomes depletion. Without Jupiter, Saturn's lessons feel cold. Together they create balance, and that's exactly what your family dynamic needs. Boundaries, however, don't exist in isolation. They need community, spaces where your healing can be witnessed, celebrated, and strengthened. Across the world, Sagittarius women are creating digital sanctuaries, astrology circles, mindfulness groups, and healing forums where stories like yours are shared without judgment. You'll find them online, under moonlight Zoom calls or local meetups titled Fire Women Gatherings. These aren't just social groups, they're soul networks. When you listen to another woman say, "Me too," something deep inside exhales. Studies echo this truth. Women who connect regularly with empathic peers show measurable drops in cortisol and loneliness, even in high-stress family environments. And that's Jupiter's magic, turning isolation into connection, fear into faith. If you feel the call, create your own Sagittarius healing circle. It doesn't need to be grand. Once a month, invite a few women, friends, sisters, mothers to gather. Light candles, pull cards, read affirmations. Talk about what you're learning through astrology, not as prediction but as reflection. Ask, what has this season taught you about love? You'll be amazed at how quickly laughter replaces fatigue, how wisdom rises naturally between kindred spirits. And when it comes to rebuilding connection at home, remember, not every bridge must be repaired overnight. Sometimes peace begins with small gestures, a shared meal without words, a handwritten note left on your child's desk, a quiet walk where you don't talk at all. These moments matter. They're Jupiter's favorite kind of miracle, the ones that unfold slowly, quietly, like dawn. Boundaries don't limit love. They refine it. Community doesn't replace family. It supports it. And when you hold both inner peace and outer connection, you embody what Sagittarius is meant to teach the world. That freedom and love are not opposites. They are, in fact, sacred partners. Tonight, before you sleep, whisper softly, "I lead with compassion, not control. I build bridges, not walls. I am surrounded by understanding within and without." And as those words drift into the quiet, you'll feel it. The new rhythm of your life, steady and spacious, held by both stars and sisters. The arguments no longer define you. The chaos no longer consumes you. What remains is what has always been yours. Your light. You are the archer, strong, wise, expanding. And now at last you are home. Conclusion: the freedom within the storm. There's a hush that follows every season of chaos. A softer, wiser silence that doesn't ache anymore. It's the silence that comes after growth, after surrender, after the archer finally lowers her bow. You've fought to understand, you've tried to hold everything together, and in that effort you discovered something luminous. Freedom is not found in control, Sagittarius. It's found in trust. You began this journey exhausted, pulled between your family's needs and your own disappearing joy. The arguments, the sleepless nights, the moments of guilt that crept in after every fight. They all felt like proof that something was breaking. But the stars knew better. Jupiter, your eternal guide, was never leading you toward destruction. He was leading you toward expansion. You were not losing peace, you were learning a deeper version of it. And now look at you. You breathe differently. You listen without urgency. You respond with softness instead of fire. You've learned that rebellion, whether from your child or your own restless spirit, is not chaos, it's conversation. It's love asking to evolve. Every sleepless night taught you to rest when you can. Every argument taught you to listen more deeply. Every tear carved room for compassion. And every silence reminded you that peace doesn't mean everyone agrees. It means you no longer crumble when they don't. Across the world, women like you are awakening under the same stars, realizing that love is not a fixed shape, but a living rhythm. The statistics may still speak of loneliness, of fading family structures, of generational divides. But your story tells something truer. When a woman reclaims her inner light, the entire constellation of her life begins to heal. And you, Sagittarius, are that light. The archer who once aimed for answers now aims for balance. The mother who once carried everything now moves lightly with grace. The woman who once feared distance now sees it as space. Room for everyone to breathe, to grow, to find their own truth. Here's a final ritual for you. Under the next Sagittarius moon, step outside beneath the night sky. Feel your feet on the earth, your breath steady. Imagine Jupiter above you, vast, golden and benevolent, showering you in calm. Lift your hand to your heart and say aloud, I trust the timing of love. I release control and return to flow. Every storm has brought me home. Then close your eyes. Listen. The air will feel wider, the night quieter. Inside you, a new kind of warmth will bloom, not the fire of reaction but the steady flame of knowing. This is your freedom within the storm. Not freedom from others but freedom from fear. Not the end of love but its evolution. So breathe easy, Sagittarius. Your story has come full circle. The rebellion that once tore at your peace has taught you how to live with an open heart and a calm soul. You've learned to lead not through perfection but through presence. And that is what the stars call mastery. Tonight, sleep knowing that the universe has seen your effort, your tears, your devotion, and it is blessing you with a new kind of joy. One that no argument can steal, and no distance can dim. You are free, radiant one. And the light that glows from your healed heart will guide not just your family, but everyone who looks up to you, wondering how to love with strength and how to rest with grace. Because that is what Sagittarius does best. She turns storms into wisdom and endings into beginnings.